You walk back up the familiar porch steps, expecting the geometry of time to be unchanged. The paint is still faded blue. The climbing jasmine still scents the corner air. Yet, something feels physically different. The width of the hall seems narrower. The dining room suddenly cramped by decades you did not live in this space. You stand there, a ghost at your own address, and ask yourself if nothing, no person, no thing, can really remain exactly as it was. What is that specific ache of misplaced familiarity, that sense of shrinkage, when you return to the landscape of your past? It is not the house itself, it is something else. The place has been resized by the simple, persistent act of growing up. The years have created a new distance between who you are now and the self that once lived within those walls. Does the memory of childhood operate as a form of emotional time travel? You think you are revisiting an address, but what you are actually doing is navigating a gap, a chronological chasm separating the person you were from the person you have become. This separation means you do not visit a place, you encounter a relic of yourself. The realization feels less like nostalgia and more like grief. It is the subtle bereavement for a self that only existed when your shoulders were smaller, when your concerns did not involve mortgages or complicated career decisions. That life, that specific gravity of being 22 years old, no longer exists in those square feet of tile flooring. Consider the work of Paul Ricoeur on memory. He spoke of narrative identity, how we construct the story of who we are through time. We build a seamless character arc. But returning to your childhood home fractures that arc. The house itself demands you inhabit a single, fixed chapter, the one where you were still contained by these walls and the people who lived here with you. It forces an impossible continuity. A sense of loss can feel profoundly physical. You move through rooms expecting the giant swing set to be overgrown, but finding that instead, the yard is now paved over partway. The expanse meant for uncontrolled movement has become a manageable, contained parcel of maintained lawn. This isn't just development, it represents the narrowing scope of your own possibilities. Why do we cling so tightly to the idea that physical geography anchors identity? We assume that if we return to the origin point, we will remember and recall all the feelings that were once imprinted there. But time is a differential force. It stretches things out, it shrinks them down. The space narrows because your capacity for feeling, your understanding of sorrow or joy has expanded beyond the dimensions of those original rooms. You are seeking not a place, but permission to shed the weight of decades and inhabit that child self again. You seek immunity from the accumulation of experience. This desire is what makes the return so poignant, almost painful. It suggests that perhaps your true home was never the structure itself, but rather a feeling, the sense of safety, the boundless energy before consequence arrived. The only thing which truly changes the scale of a life is consciousness. You are now seen with the wide, careful vision of an adult. When you were a child, you did not have to see how small those halls suddenly appear. Your awareness was proportional to them. Your world was sized for you. If that was true, what would happen if we redefined homes not as an address on a map, but as a pattern recognized in the way we navigate the current day? The ability to stand in the silence of the unfamiliar without needing to reference some golden age past, to build new boundaries and find beauty in the accidental scale of things. The journey back is only ever outward. It moves you from the contained rectangle of memory toward the unpredictable vastness of now. You learn that growth is never a reversal, it is simply an expansion, leaving old containers seeming wonderfully, beautifully small. The real homecoming begins when you accept the dimensions of your own life as they are, wide, complicated, and ever-expanding beyond any original blueprint. If this gave you something to sit with, that is what this channel is for. Small shifts in how you see your own life. I will see you in the next one.